On the WDAY News Center, this is Ty Schonert, and it's time for your Flag News Update. The City of Fargo today is hosting two public input meetings on the proposed pedestrian bridge near City Hall. The proposed walkway would be built over 2nd Street North and the adjacent flood wall. The first meeting happened at 11:30 a.m. and went to 1:30 p.m. in the Fargo City Hall Commission chambers, while the second one will be happening from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. in the Fargo City Hall lobby.
I started looking at those folks coming through the doors and wondering what's going to happen to those resources in our community that I've been connecting people up with.
Clay County Commissioner Jenna Cayley says that fueled her initial run for the commission 2 years ago.
The county oversees everything from solid waste and highways to our foster care system and child care licensure.
Cayley says her main priorities if elected to the commission on November 8th include the new Substance Abuse Crisis Center, helping solve issues in child care in the county, and continue to find new ways to get citizens involved in asking questions and meetings. And 4 people from Jamestown are under arrest on several charges, including burglary. Ashley Weber, William Wagner, and Noah Pruitt all face drug charges and burglary or accomplice to burglary charges. A 4th man, Kyle Wetlinger, was arrested for a probation hold. Jamestown police, along with state and county officers, conducted a traffic stop yesterday, which led to the search warrants at 2 hotel rooms and 2 vehicles. Items from several residential and business burglaries were recovered. This is Ty Schonert with The Flag and AM1100theflag.com. First at the news when you need to know.
Listen, this company in Fargo is paying a $17 per hour starting wage, a possible $750 bonus, hourly increases after 90 days, quarterly wage adjustments, and health insurance benefit at 30 hours per week. Red River Human Services of Fargo. This will be a job you'll be proud of, helping adults with developmental disabilities with a culture and benefits nobody else can match. Apply now at Red River Human Services at rrhsf.org. That's rrhsf.org.
This is a Fox News alert. A verdict just reached in a trial connected to the Steele dossier on Lisa Brady, a Russian national found not guilty on all counts. Igor Danchenko was accused of lying to the FBI about the anti-Trump dossier that was part of the run-up to the Russia probe.
This is part of John Durham's investigation, the special counsel appointed by then Attorney General Bill Barr back in May 2019 to look at the origins of the narrative that pinned Donald Trump to Russia.
Fox's David Spahn at the federal courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia. This was the second trial stemming from Durham's investigation. Earlier this year, a Hillary Clinton campaign attorney was also acquitted of lying to the FBI.
We do expect some sort of narrative to come out, a final Durham report, just like we saw the Mueller report.
Durham has been highly critical of the FBI's handling of the investigation targeting the 2016 Trump campaign. A verdict also just reached in the 1996 disappearance of California college student Kristen Smart. Prosecutors say Paul Flores, who's now 45, killed her and that his father helped cover up the crime. Paul Flores just found guilty of first-degree murder. 3 weeks to the midterm elections, President Biden is making abortion access a priority.
If Democrats keep control of the House and expand their numbers in the Senate, President Biden says the first piece of legislation he'll send the new Congress will be to codify Roe v. Wade.
Together we'll restore the right to choose for every woman in every state in America. So vote. You got to get out the vote. We can do this if we vote.
President made the promise at a DNC event in Washington, D.C. House Democrats have passed legislation expanding abortion protections nationwide. Those have failed in the 50-50 divided Senate.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Republicans keeping the focus on inflation and crime. America is listening to Fox News.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK.
Mainly clear skies for this evening, and it's still on the chilly side with temperatures falling from the 30s into the 20s after sunset and eventually down to an overnight low into the upper teens. We'll have winds lightly blowing and turning to the southwest. For your Wednesday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies and southwest winds around 5 to 15, a little warmer with highs in the mid-50s. Then we'll warm it up into the 60s from Thursday all the way through the upcoming weekend. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
Today's weather is brought to you by Summit Carbon Solutions. The ethanol industry is critical for the North Dakota economy and our farmers. Summit Carbon Solutions is opening new economic opportunities for ethanol producers and helping maintain a strong market for corn growers while generating millions of dollars in new property taxes to help local communities support our schools and hospitals. Visit summitcarbonsolutions.com to learn how this project is driving the future of agriculture in North Dakota.
Live from the PetroServe USA studio, it's the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free.
So I went to the Candace Owens event last night up at NDSU, and I guess I just want to start with two things. One, you're welcome. I mean, the amount of courage it took for me to go to this event, I'm surprised that I was even able to get out of bed and make it here today. And secondly, after being there, I can completely understand why so many people wanted to shut her down. I mean, here you have a young, very successful Black woman standing on a stage talking. Does it get any more frightening than that? Can anybody be more frightening than standing on a stage using the English language? When you start to really break down the preview to this show and how many people are having a conversation about wanting to shut Candace Owens down, is that where we're at in society today? Is that how soft young people have gotten, where they are afraid of a successful young person getting up on a stage and using the English language? It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Well, the irony, I think, last night is, you had probably about 30 to 50 protesters. I think it was the NDSU Black Student Association that put out some of these emails in regards to shutting the Candace event down. I didn't spend a lot of time, looking or focused on the protesters, but as I walked by, I got a short video. I think every protester was white. So if we're going to play their game, and every protester there that wants to shut down Candace Owens, who they call a bigot, aren't they being the bigots? Wanting to shut down a young, successful Black woman from using her voice? Just something to think about. She went through some great points. I'm going to break them down myself today and share some of the highlights from last night's speech. Two things that I think are really, really important that she got into, and I'll use some of her specific examples. But listening to her, well, first off, let me put it this way. There was probably about, 1,000, 1,100 people in the room, and they had to turn hundreds, if not more, away last night. I mean, my phone was blowing up last night from people like, I can't get in. There's no more room. What's going on? So it was a packed house on a university campus. So what does that tell you? What does that tell me? That there is a hunger, a thirst for people, that they just want the truth. They just want that righteousness. They just want a restoration in our nation. We talk about it a lot here on the show, that you and I maybe can't put our finger on it exactly. You just know something's not right. You just know that something's not right now. And when you hear the truth, it just rings through your soul. It just rings through your heart. It just rings through every fiber of your being. And so when you've got people up there that are speaking the truth, they're like, okay, yeah, that's right. That feels right. And I bring this up because she did a really nice job of breaking down what's at the core of the liberals, Democrats, progressives, whatever label you want to put on them. I really don't care, because one of the greatest things she said last night is a young Black man stood up to the mic and he's like, hey, our society kind of tells you if you're young and you're a Black man that you're going to have challenges in the world. And, that may or may not be true. But if you've got some, insights, some coaching for me, what would you say? And her response was phenomenal. She's like, first off, don't go on that thought plantation. Don't fall prey to that mental prison. And secondly, stop seeing yourself as a skin color. If I were you, I would see yourself as an American, not a black person, but an American. That will supersede it all. And if you can do that and sort of live into this idea of what America really is about, meritocracy, you win. You win. So that's one of the things we've been talking a lot about here on the show is stop falling prey to that thought plantation, the mental prison that the media continues to put you and I in by breaking us down by Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, blah, 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 blah. If you can start to see each other as Americans, it changes the conversation. Now, I know sometimes it's difficult to do when you've got people saying certain things, but we're going to talk more about that in future shows. I think one of the most important, most powerful things you can do right now is to build a bulletproof psychology. If you can begin to build a bulletproof psychology, then all this stuff is just a gnat on a camel's back. So to get back to the premise of what she said here, and at the core of what the Democrats, the progressive, the liberals, as she labeled them, are trying to do, is really two things. And it goes hand in hand with what I talked about in Lisbon when I had a chance to visit and speak with Senator John Hoeven. And I mentioned to you this before, there were some certain lines when I spoke out in Lisbon that, as a public speaker, you start to get sort of privy and used to like, oh, there's an applause line. Didn't expect that, but okay, that's mental note. Like they're hungry for more of that. And there were applause lines during Lisbon that I was like, that's interesting. One of those was just talking about getting back to righteousness, a restoration of righteousness within our nation. And what I talked about in Lisbon was two really important things was number one, what can we do as a nation to put God first? Because when you look out across the country right now, everybody I talked to was like, Chris, I don't know what to do. I've never felt so helpless in our nation before, and I just simply don't know what to do. And right now I'm studying, Book of Kings, Chronicles, and it talks a lot about really putting God first and some of the providential things that happen. And we talked about this yesterday when David Barton was in town. So I touched on that in Lisbon. She talked about that last night. We'll get to some of those pieces in a moment. The second piece is just that core family unit and how the Democrats, the progressives want to destroy that. Now, you've got to ask yourself, why in the world would anybody want to destroy your faith and destroy the core family unit? Kent Busick is in studio. He helped bring Candace Owens to Bismarck. He's going to be joining us throughout the show. But Kent, I'll pose it to you, and maybe you know this answer because you listen to Candace. But why would anybody want to destroy your faith or the core family unit?
Well, what's really interesting is, and you need to read Candace's book and where she goes into that, and you didn't realize what's been done with public policy over the last 60 years, that if what she says is true in this book, and it seems to be because it's backed up by a lot of people, and there's a lot of information out there, what the Johnson administration did in the 60s, that, I mean, this was deliberate in the way they set up public policy that would destroy the lower income or the minority households in this country just to retain them.
Why?
Well, again, it was about power, and they wanted to retain a voting bloc.
And how are they going to retain the voting bloc by destroying the core family unit and destroying your faith?
Well, what they did then is they just made you dependent on the government.
Exactly.
And again, she lays it out very well.
Let me break it down this way. And I talked about this before. Okay. If you want to look at millionaires in our nation, multi-generational wealth, go read the book Millionaire Next Door and ask yourself, what percentage of millionaires have been married only one time? It's like 95, 96%. I'm not saying that money is everything. All I'm saying is that if you've been married one time and you stay married and you build the core family unit and you own a home and build some multi-generational wealth, guess what? You ain't dependent on a government check. You're free. The other thing I'll share with you, if you look at what's happening in the incarceration of our nation, if you look at the percentage of young men that are incarcerated in America today, 85%. 85% of the young men incarcerated in America today come from fatherless homes. That is the destruction of the core family unit. Because what happens is that you become a single mom. They've had policy, like Ken just alluded to, where you actually incentivizing more and more kids, and it makes you become dependent on the government. Now, that's why there's a big, promotion around abortion so they can have more women in the workplace. Bottom line, you're still not a family. You're still not a core family unit raising our kids. And that's how it boils down to the kids. Where now, if you don't have a core family unit with a mom and a dad raising the kids, who's raising them? It's a screen. It's the government. That's why they want this whole, we don't need just kindergarten. We don't need just kindergarten public education. No, we need from womb to the tomb education, right? As soon as they come out, we got to put them in daycare. So let me play some of Candace's pieces last night, but I want you to really start to understand what's at the core of this conversation when you hear Democrats, liberals, progressive. Again, I don't care the label you put on it, but what are they really trying to do? They want to destroy your faith because that way you and I both know in America, we praise God, not government. But if you don't have a faith, if they destroy it, and she talked about this, that's why in communist nations, you have to be an atheist. They don't allow a faith, a spirituality, because they want you to give praise to the government, become fully dependent. Look, COVID was a dry run. If you haven't seen that yet, if you're not aware of that yet, I don't know what it's going to take. But COVID was a dry run to say, you can't go to church. Now, the liquor things are going to stay open, right? The casinos in Nevada were able to stay open, but you can't go to church. Does that make any sense? No, of course not. Oh, and you can't be with your family. How many old people do we know passed away alone? You can't be with your family. And there is a lot of research that shows when you are just out of the womb, one of the most important things that you can do is be with a mom and a dad. Have that physical touch. Have that physical presence. That is one of the greatest things you can do for a brand newborn baby. That's what science says, right? All these people believe that they believe in science. That's what the science shows, and that's why they tried to destroy. Remember, there was times when you were coming out of the womb and parents weren't allowed to be around the kids because of COVID. It's a crime. These people should be locked up and they're walking around getting promotions, i.e. Fauci. We're going to continue this conversation, but I do want to play a clip here. This is Candace last night talking about the destruction of the family. Here is Candace Owens from last night.
Feminist. And you ask yourself, why, right? 3 categories: the climate lobby, the trans lobby, the feminist lobby. Why are we doing this? And the answer is very simple. And do not ever forget what I'm about to tell you right now. The one thing that unites the left and its purpose in this society is the destruction of family. That is what they are after. You revisit those categories and it all starts to make so much more sense, right? You realize why the climate lobby is telling children that it would be irresponsible for them to start families because the world's going to be dead in 10 years. This is a real thing. They gave Harry and Meghan an award for agreeing to only have 2 children. You had AOC on her platform say that she wasn't going to have any children because she was concerned for the planet. And I think that's okay, by the way.
The one thing I will say too about Candace, and Ken, I'm sure you agree, she definitely has good comedic timing. I mean, she can nail some things with her comedic timing. So she did a really nice job. But I think she's breaking it down just to the core where, look, Kent's really, really smart, right? He understands numbers. He's really, really smart. I'm not. I'm a really simple guy. Like, you just keep it simple. I'm good. And that's what we want to do here on the show is like, it's simple. You put God first, put family second, put country third, and let's go restore this thing. Let's go put this thing back on track and get it back where you and I can sit there and go, okay, did you have a comment, sir?
Can I ask you a simple question?
As long as it's simple, I might be able to answer it.
So what with that clip you just played from Candace did you find threatening? Why would these young people on campus be afraid of her based on that very threatening commentary that you gave?
That was my point in the open. Like, I can totally understand now why people were like, we need to shut her down. This is a successful woman using words. I mean, is there anything more frightening? That is how soft Americans have gotten. That is why, if there really is any sort of invasion from Russia or China or whatever, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, these people had safe spaces. Remember when Trump won, they had safe spaces on campus. So when we come back, Candace breaks down also why they're going after God. Then there was a mom that stood up and talked about how her 7-year-old says, Mom, I hate being white. I can't be, and it was like freaking out about it. I'm going to play that much more. We're coming up right after this.
Your farm and business depends on a reliable source for energy. PetroServe USA is the customer-owned co-op committed to being a stable source of fuel for your equipment and propane to dry your grain. We have the capacity to make sure you never run out of fuel and to keep prices stable. Dependability, competitive prices, and exemplary service. That's PetroServe USA, helping America fuel better.
PetroServe USA.
Call today.
Been looking for a golf cart for the lake, cabin, or the course? Largest selection of Club Car Onward golf carts within 150 miles is available at All Season Motorsports. 0% financing. That's 0% financing for up to 36 months on 2022 and 23 Club Car golf carts. All inventory must go. Largest selection of club cars at 0% financing. All Season Motorsports off I-94 and Cheyenne Street, West Fargo. Hurry before they're gone.
OnsteadLaw.com.
Help save our country. Support Mike Lindell in his fight for truth. Hello, friends. I'm Scott Hennon from the What's on Your Mind radio show. And my friend Mike Lindell is fearless. He never, ever gives up in his battle for election integrity. The least we can do is support him and the products of MyPillow, which are constantly under attack. The good employees of MyPillow.com are under attack. Banks cancel him. Big box stores cancel him. Walmart cancels him. This is what he endures for helping to save our country. Right now, you can get up to 66% off at MyPillow.com when you use the promo code SCOTT. 66% off. No kidding. Now is the time to go to MyPillow.com, promo code SCOTT, or call this telephone number, 800-506-9028. 800-506-9028.
Fair Meadow Nursing Home is a 42-bed skilled nursing facility in Fertile, Minnesota. They pride themselves on the small-town, close-knit home environment feel they provide their residents. Now hiring for the following positions: CNAs, LPNs, RNs, PTAs, TMAs, and universal workers. Fair Meadow Nursing Home is committed to providing seniors a rich, meaningful, and dignified life, focusing on physical, social, spiritual, and emotional needs in order to provide the best life journey possible.
Hi, I'm Grant Nelson, NDSU Bison basketball player. Whether it's playing basketball or driving in my car, I want to do everything to the best of my ability, on the court and off the court. So when I'm in the car, I up my game with the Drive for Less program from Nodak Insurance. I could save up to 30% on my premium just for driving safely. To me, that's a slam dunk. Download the Nodak Insurance app today.
The right time to roll with me.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth. Whew, man, has that word ever been more important than the history of our nation right now? Your daily dose of truth to help set you free. We're coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio. I want to invite you to go check out their new store. It's in Harwood. So as you're driving up and down the interstate there, please stop into the local Harwood store there. It is, as Kent would say, and President Trump, it is big, it's beautiful, it's a big, new, beautiful store. Stop into the Harwood store there for PetroServe USA. So last night, Candace Owens was in town, had a chance to go to the event. She had an outstanding talk, probably about 60, 75 minutes, took questions, but she really got to the core of who and why people are trying to destroy this nation and the approach they're taking by destroying your faith and by destroying the nuclear family. So we just touched upon what she said about the nuclear family, because you get rid of the nuclear family, it makes you more dependent on the government. If you could destroy someone's faith, pretty much the same thing. Here's how she broke down the piece around why they're going after Christians.
And also categories like why they consistently attack Christians. It's like this weird thing at the left. It's just like, oh my God, Bible Belt Christians. Like every day they're mocking people that believe in Jesus Christ. It's just like casual. Oh my God, another Bible Belt Southern Christian. Like these are things that they say as if we're supposed to be ashamed for being Christian. But then you understand that that too is a part of the same battle, because they know that what they are after is a dependent state. Right? What they are after is statism. They want the state to control every single layer of your life. It is a new plantation. And in order to accomplish that plantation, in order to accomplish a socialist state, a communist state.
We've talked about this before with COVID. One of the big strategies used was to put you in fear. Now, why does that matter? Why would they want to put you in fear? Because when people are in fear, they just don't think clearly. They don't think effectively. They don't think clearly. I mean, how many times during this COVID situation would you walk up to people and they literally look like a zombie? Like you would talk to them and they couldn't hear you, they couldn't see you. I mean, it was just you're like, hello, is anybody there? So when you're in fear, it hinders people in different ways. One of the things is it definitely changes the way you process information and how you think. I bring that up because I love the fact that she's talking about a thought plantation. When you are in fear and you're concerned about your livelihood, your safety, how you're going to survive, you make much different decisions and you think much differently, which thus puts you on potentially, if you're not clear, a thought plantation. We will come back to that thought in many future shows. I want to play this for you. Mom stood up and said something that made the room just like suck the oxygen out of the room. Like it was, wait, what? Or am I in San Francisco right now? Am I in Boston or am I in Fargo, North Dakota? So mom stood up last night and just imagine your 7-year-old. If you have kids, you can appreciate this, but imagine your 7-year-old becoming hysterical, get in the back of your car, like you pick them up at school. You're like, hey, what's up? How was your day? And they just start freaking out. And then they start saying this to you.
Hi. My advice is how to give advice to my daughter. On last Wednesday, on her way to school, my 7-year-old in the back seat became hysterical. When asking her what was wrong, she told me she didn't want to be white anymore.
That's so sad.
And that her white classmate told her that being white means that they kill Black people.
Oh.
That was absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Of course, then I dive into who her parents are, and they are white from out east. What advice can I give my daughter? I told her God doesn't make mistakes.
Just sit with that for a moment. 7-year-old jumps in the back of your car after hanging out on recess, becomes hysterical, no longer wants to be white because she's told that if you're white, you kill Black people. What? Like, when do we get back to meritocracy? When do we get back to MLK? Like, I have a dream where my daughter's going to grow up in a nation where she can be judged by the content of her character, not the color of her skin. Like, what are we doing? This is what I mean by the restoration of righteousness in our nation. You just know that's not right. You just know it. But it's back. It's back, and it needs to get turned around. So, a lot to discuss there from Candace. Turning Point USA did live stream it. So if you missed it, you can go to Turning Point USA, watch it in its entirety. Really, really good conversation. But I think the biggest thing for you and I to take away is that it was packed, and packed with predominantly young people on a campus, which many of us would call a thought plantation, if you would. And it was packed with people that are saying, wait a second, I know something's not right. I want to get the truth. That's why I'm here. To the point where they were turning many, many people away. That tells you and me that there is a hunger and a thirst for this conversation and for the truth, meaning that the future of the United States of America has a chance. There's some hope. And I think a big pivot point is going to happen November 8th, which, by the way, we are just 3 weeks away from that date. All right, we got some special guests in studio. We want to move on to another conversation. Ken Busick, we introduced a moment ago with Busick, Olson & Associates, great CPA in town, and he brought in a special guest. He always does this. It's kind of funny. He's like, hey, Chris, I got some surprises for you. People that we're going to talk to. One of those today is Danelle Johnson. She's got a big JDRF walk coming up on November 12th, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Kent, great to see you as always.
How are you doing, Chris?
Danelle, great to see you. So Kent, since you introduced Danelle, do you want to introduce her and kind of talk about what's going on here with the big walk?
Yeah, Danelle and I have been friends 7-8 years now, and we've been working on this project together for a number of years. It's our second year back after COVID. It's the JDRF walk. It is the largest local fundraiser. And pre-COVID, we did very, very well. Last year was kind of start the process again, but we want to get back after it and help out the type 1 juvenile type 1 diabetes cause. I don't know if they want to still call it juvenile diabetes anymore, but type 1 diabetes. So, but tell us about what's going on.
1 second here. We got to get your mic up. Are we good, John?
Is it working now?
There we go. Danelle, welcome.
All right. Thank you. I don't usually get told you can't hear me, for those that know me. My name is Danelle Johnson, and I've been working with families in our region to put on the volunteer event for JDRF, which they don't go by Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation because it isn't just a juvenile disease. Of the 64,000 people in America being diagnosed every year, a third of them are adults, unsuspecting adults.
So why does it still go by JDRF?
Well, because that's what people know the foundation or the company as. They just don't use the whole words. They use JDRF. But anyway, JDRF focuses 100% on type 1 diabetes and curing, preventing, and treating. Those are the three main levers that they use to try and help make life with this disease easier. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease with no cure, no known specific cause, and we're working to help raise funds to support that research in our area.
Well, it's not only research, but I'm just going to interject, but a lot of that money stays local too. So if you're a parent of or close to a person that has type 1 diabetes, and oftentimes it comes at a young age, I mean, you're throwing a lot at you. So the money, a large portion of it stays local. So from an education standpoint, support standpoint, camps, that there's a diabetes camp in the summer that kids can go to for free, just to help learn with this, learn to live with this chronic disease.
Danelle, do you mind? We got a little bit of time, but Kent's story, I think, is really compelling about how he found out that his son has diabetes. And I think it may help people understand because, you guys were out of the country when this happened to Cade. You had no idea. So I think it's powerful for parents to go like, I don't know when and where this could happen. Are there maybe things I should be looking for to get my son or daughter tested, or is it just going to happen at any time? Or
Well, and I think Danielle can attest to this, but I mean, the symptoms are the teenager is grumpy, they pee a lot, they eat a lot, and they're grumpy. Well, that's a teenager. So, I mean,
They lose weight, they grow. Yeah.
it could happen at any time. And fortunately, unfortunately, we were out of country when it happened. But again, every story is different, but yet they're the same. It's there, and you got to deal with it day in, day out.
So did you have any inkling that your daughter had it, or it just sort of came out of the blue? And
Nope, came out of the blue. We did not have any inklings. She had been very, very involved in sports. So instead of having to go to the bathroom all the time, she was sweating out all of the sugars. And then when all of her summer camps stopped, the 2 weeks before school sports start in August, that's when she started having to go to the bathroom all the time. And we're like, what's going on? So no, we had no idea. But a lot of the symptoms are very similar to the flu. So it's very often misdiagnosed.
so third, I've got 20 seconds. What can people do to join you on November 12th?
Come out on November 12th, our walk. The doors open at 9 a.m. at the Shields Arena in Fargo. This is not just a Fargo walk. This is the North Dakota, Northern Minnesota, and South Dakota walk. We need sponsors to help support these families and help with partnering with us to find a cure.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Again, November 12th at Shields Arena. You can join the walk, raise some money. They still have not found a solution to type 1 diabetes, and they've been looking at research now for a long, long time. When we come back, Ken Busey's got another special guest with us. One of these we're going to touch on. We all remember what happened to the Cheyenne soccer team. Went through a great season. They were ready to go to state, and then they weren't. The state of youth sports and much more coming up right after this.
Mainly clear skies for this evening, and it's still on the chilly side with temperatures falling from the 30s into the 20s after sunset and eventually down to an overnight low into the upper teens. We'll have winds lightly blowing and turning to the southwest. For your Wednesday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies and southwest winds around 5 to 15, a little warmer with highs in the mid-50s. Then we'll warm it up into the 60s from Thursday all the way through the upcoming weekend. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
Do you suffer from stiff, achy, chronic knee pain? Have you been told you have arthritis? Is knee pain keeping you from enjoying your favorite hobbies? If so, the next 60 seconds could change your life. Please listen carefully. If we find you're a candidate for our unique approach, we'll do a trial treatment, and day one, you will know without a doubt if we can help you. Pick up the phone right now and call 701-353-2230. And best of all, we may be able to reduce and even eliminate your knee pain without pills, shots, or surgery. But due to limited capacity, you must call now at 701-353-2230. Hurry, call now to find out if you qualify for our program that is changing lives and helping people save time, money, and agony. Call now at 701-353-2230. You have nothing to lose, so call right now.
Hi, Gus here from Precision Concrete Cutters Ramjack North. Due to the lack of the moisture in the soil, we've been experiencing more calls regarding foundation movement. Lack of moisture causes soil to contract and pull away from your foundation. If you notice dirt pulling away from your home, you'll need to make sure that you don't have bigger issues. Cracks in your sheetrock or outside walls, sloped floors, sticking doors and windows. Contact us today at 701-280-7038. Precision Concrete Cutters Ramjack North, your complete foundation experts.
Brian Feuder with the NDSCS Apprenticeship Program.
NDSCS's apprenticeship program is really based on the typical apprenticeship models that have been in existence for many years. But currently there are over 1,000 apprenticeable occupations that are recognized by the United States Department of Labor.
Hi, I'm Dixie Bope. I'm the Director of Nursing at Four Seasons Healthcare Center. I encourage other companies to use the NDSCS apprenticeship program. They have a personal relationship with you. They help you out with advertising. They help bringing in new candidates, interviews, getting the word out.
Hi, my name is Pamela Morrow, Project Specialist for NDSCS Apprenticeship. If you're interested in a program, please reach out today by calling 701-231-6927 or go online to ndscs.edu/workforce-affairs and click on the Apprenticeship North Dakota tab.
See if the NDSCS Apprenticeship Program is for you. Why High Plains Apache? Well, there are so many reasons it's why High Plains Apache. Ask your neighbors about their sales and service or new and used deals on sprayers, the parts and service department, and yes, a very well-respected sales department. Everything you'll need to get started this season with the sprayers for your operation. You'll find out a lot more at the website, High Plains Apache Sprayers. You'll find them at highplainsapache.com. That's highplainsapache.com.
At Starion Bank, we think having choices is important, so you can choose a financial partner and the financial products that are right for your life. We offer tools that allow you to safely and easily bank no matter the time or your location. Your money, your choice of innovative solutions. We know it's important to spend less time worrying about your finances and more time living. What are you waiting for? The possibilities are endless. Explore banking here. StarionBank.com. Member FDIC.
This is the place where everything's better, everything's safe. Walk on the ocean, step on the storm.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show. Great to have you with us today. This is your daily dose of truth to help set you free. If you want to email into the show, which just got a very interesting email. I hadn't seen this until just now. Breaking news. Family of George Floyd sues Kanye West for $250 million, alleging defamation and infliction of emotional distress following the rapper's comments about Floyd's death. So apparently he alleges that Floyd passed away from a fentanyl overdose rather than being killed by a cop. And so now the mom wants to sue Kanye for $250 million. If you want to email into the show, please do so. It's studio@chrisbergshow.com. Again, studio@chrisbergshow.com. I want to say thank you to Red Wing Shoes for sponsoring our studio email inbox. If you're someone that's right now is working a blue-collar gig, first and foremost, thank you for all the hard work you do to keep this country on track. We couldn't do it without you. One of the great things about Red Wing Shoes is they've got their big Tough Love event right now. So you can go down there, and if you've got some Red Wing Shoes work boots, you want to buy some goods to take care of those beautiful boots, you're going to get a discount on that. And then if you just need some good custom fit protective work boots, they'll take care of you. Teresa down there will make sure that she's got the perfect fit work boot just for you. And you can go see her at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Again, that's 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo, or check them out at redwingshoes.com. Again, that's redwingshoes.com. We are going to get to the piece about Dave Piepkorn being removed as deputy mayor out of Fargo. We'll do that in the next segment. We've got some sound bites for you. We'll get Mr. Busick's comments and point of view on that as well. And right now, we want to talk about some youth sports. Kent has got a special guest he's going to have join us. But we also had him with Cheyenne soccer team. Hey, they had a great season. We're going to state. And then they weren't. And we still don't really know why. So, Kent, always great to have you here, my friend. Kent Busick with Busick, Olson and Associates. And you've got Mr. Kyle Newman joining us. So I'll let you do the intro and we'll jump into the convo.
Well, thank you, Chris, and welcome, Kyle. Obviously, a few weeks back, the Cheyenne soccer team, they had to forfeit their games and because of an ineligible player. And there was just a lot of pointing of fingers back and forth. Was it the administration's fault? Was the parents' fault? Kids' fault? Coach's fault? Somebody. And we still haven't heard why, and we probably never will because of confidentiality issues. And I can understand that. But that led to a conversation between Kyle and I. And Kyle and I, we've known each other for many years. Our kids have done sports together. He's coached my kids. We've competed against each other. And Kyle's actually going through the process now of having some kids being recruited. So he's been very active, and we've had some really good conversations the past week or so in regards to just coaching philosophy and, parents dealing with coaches. And that's kind of what I want to touch upon, Kyle. So, I'll just throw it out to you, Kyle, and just, your philosophy that in dealing with the parents, dealing with the kids, and what you do day one.
Yeah. So hey, thanks for having me, Chris, and Ken, thanks for inviting me. It's really cool. To Ken's point, first of all, the Vikings are 5-1, so let's get pumped about that. So let's go, right?
Exactly.
I'm so jacked.
I love that you went there,
man. 5-1, but we are.
It's been ugly, hasn't it?
It doesn't matter. We're 5-1. But anyway, so just like a smidge of background here. My wife and I, Tara, we have 8 kids. And my oldest is 17, and my youngest is 5. And we have 4 boys, 4 girls. And then like people always ask me, Kyle, how do you do it? And I go, well, I wake up, I go to work, I coach kids or watch games, go to bed, and I do it all over the same day. Then or the next day. And that's just kind of our thing. So we're a sports family. So anyways, back to Ken's point on so youth sports is such a big thing. It's gotten exponentially bigger since, the 3 of us were playing. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you play travel ball at 9 years old in basketball, and so one of the things is that it's like as a coach, because I coach these kids too. And so one of the things is, what I try to do is I just tell them the truth up front. And a lot of people talk, participation trophies and all that. No, we don't need that. What it is winning. I tell the kids this in a nice way. I mean, you got to be a tactful coach, but I'll say winning is a precondition to having fun. And I know that sounds harsh, but have you ever seen a 9 or a 10-year-old having fun after they've just lost a game?
No.
And so then what that does, it's kind of like capitalism or something. But what it does is that they want to work hard, off the court, off the field, whatever it is, and come back better and compete. And that's how they have fun. And I always tell them, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. It's not all about state. It's not all about whatever the grand finale is. Enjoy that piece of it. And so go ahead.
I was going to say, I think kids are capable of that, but then you put this mix of some of the parents in today where they think, I'm going to go save 150 grand because my kid's going to get a Scully and then he's going to go to the NFL and I'm going to make, 20 million. Like, how do you manage that piece of it?
So to me, as someone who's coached for many, many years, to me, that's an overstated piece. You're always going to have that, crazy parent or two or whatever, maybe. I've been fortunate where I haven't had a lot of them, but that's going to happen. So I think that like overall, like the default position, instead of being like crazy parent, the default position should be good parent. And that's what they actually are. They're great parents. I mean, you think about it. They're spending money in hotel rooms. They're buying the kid a new bat, their new football, new sneakers, whatever it is. I mean, they're trying to get the kid off the Xbox and play a game, and then there's coaches willing to do it. And there's a lot of good coaches out there too. That's what's so fun about all this stuff. So I think sometimes the negativity like drowns out the good stuff on youth sports. And it's unfortunate.
Well, and that's what we were talking about, Kyle, that parents want to help. And part of the issue is coaches often don't tell you what they need. And then the parents kind of overstep their bounds. But if the coaches communicate on the upfront or during the course of the season and say, hey, I want to have team meals on this trip, or maybe if we go down to Sioux Falls, we want to go to the water park, we need a little extra money, could you do some fundraising? The parents will step up and help, and they're more than willing to help you because they know you have a big job.
Exactly. And they will. You just got to ask. I mean, you got to be organized. It's like running a business. You got to get organized up front. You got to say, okay, who's got hotel rooms? Who's got, sandwiches when we got a doubleheader, or, you rattle off the whole list. And the moms especially step up, and everybody wants to be a part of something fun. And I think the positivity of youth sports gets this wet blanket thrown over it, because of, a bad apple or two. And that's not the case, because the kids love it.
Well, and part of it too is, if you look at our background, we kind of grew up, or our kids have grown up through the same system, with Fargo, with the Shanley JP2 system before you move. But again, it's also, you got to teach the kids responsibility, and you have to put some of the burden on them to help out, whether it's either fundraise or pick up after themselves when they're at the end of the practice too.
Right. So my friend Shane Hussar, who coached with me at West Fargo, he had this acronym. He called it DEAD. It's kind of a morbid acronym, obviously. He called it DEAD, but I still use it. I stole it from him. And what it is it's details, effort, attitude, discipline. And I've been saying that for years. In those kids, they're once you instill that, they're early for practice, 20 minutes early. You can start early because they're all there.
We've got 30. Hey, Kyle, I'm sorry. We got 30 seconds. Can you give that acronym one more time? Because that was pretty solid.
DEAD. So it's DEAD. So it's details, effort, attitude, discipline.
I love it. Kyle, I got to go, my friend, but I've got a homework assignment for you and your teams. Take the word attitude, and then how A is number 1 in the alphabet, T is number 20, right? Put the number of the letter below each letter of attitude and add them up, and then tell me what you get. All right?
All right.
Thank you. All right, stay with us.
Good.
When we come back, you're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked. So let me know. Call Kent maybe even during the break, and we'll chat about it. But stay with us when we come back. Dave Piepkorn, should he have remained as deputy mayor or not? We're going to share with you some of last night's Fargo City Commission meeting and much more coming up right after this.
Have you ever thought about selling your home but quickly talk yourself out of it when you consider all the repairs, cleaning, inspections, open houses, and the unknown of what price your home will actually sell at? Stop stressing. We will buy your home as is with no appraisals or costly commissions to worry about. You can even pick your closing date. Call me, John Nosala with JK Property Partners at 701-306-3229 or go to fargohomevalues.com for an instant valuation.
Hey, it's Scott Hennon from Flag Family Media. As most of you know, we've recently expanded our facility to welcome WDAY to our location on Thunder Road. For that Showcase Corner studio, we were in search of the perfect desk for our WDAY talent. We met with the designers at Grain Designs, and a beautiful studio came to life. The attention to detail, incredible. They pride themselves in creating furniture both your customers and employees will love. You dream it, they build it. Commercial office desks, conference tables, and more. Start the process today at graindesigns.com. Graindesigns.com.
Anyone can get a room for gatherings. At Herd and Horns, we provide an experience. Whether it be dinner, corporate event, grad party, groom's dinner, no matter what the occasion, at Herd and Horns, you get a great time. All ages are welcome, plenty of room and games like pool, darts, virtual golf, and more, plus a private bar. Begin the booking process now. Email info@herdandhorns.com or call 701-551-7000. Herd and Horns next to campus in North Fargo, and so much more than bar food.
This November, North Dakotans will vote on Measure 2 to legalize marijuana. I'm Scott Brand, former soldier of the Army National Guard, military veteran, and an attorney from West Fargo. I guess people know I'm a pretty straightforward guy, so I'm letting people know that I'm voting yes on Measure 2. When I returned home from Iraq in 2007, I saw fellow veterans suffering from PTSD and debilitating pain. For many people struggling with serious health issues, marijuana is the only thing that helps. But far too many people who need marijuana for medicinal benefits can't access it in North Dakota. Legalizing regulated adult use of marijuana changes that. As a veteran, I support Measure 2. It'll ensure veterans and other patients can get the relief they deserve. This is a chance to show each other support and compassion. Vote yes on 2 on November 8th.
Paid for by New Approach North Dakota. Mark Freese, Treasurer.
There are a million reasons to love a pet, and a million more to love a shelter pet. During the month of October, Muscatel Subaru has teamed up with Homeward Animal Shelter of Fargo to find forever homes for shelter pets by donating $100 each day of the month for pet adoption fees. Having Muscatel Subaru help with adoption fees makes this a great time to consider adopting a four-legged companion. Go to homewardonline.org to see available pets and to make an appointment today.
Veteran and locally owned since 1932, Action Movers is North Dakota's largest and oldest mover. Whether you're moving across the street or across country, Action Movers will make your move easy by handling every detail from start to finish. From packing, loading, transporting, storage, or even do-it-yourself with a Go Mini container delivered to your driveway, they truly have every solution for your move, accommodating all budgets. Get a moving quote today and mention Scott to save 10%. Call them at 701-566-5532 or visit actionmovers.com to set your appointment.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free. I want to remind you, if you're someone out there right now, and there's a lot of people, I had a great conversation with a friend of mine today dealing with just the challenges that are going on right now as far as anxiety, depression, not sleeping right, just bottom line, not feeling like yourself. And really want to invite you, if you're dealing with any of that, it's free. It's a free consultation. Doesn't get any better than free. Go call Cirrus at Fargo. It's 701-566-5231. Again, 701-566-5231. Again, you're just not feeling like you. They may be able to help you basically take a nap for 60 minutes and see if it's the right fit. 701-566-5231, Cirrus of Fargo. All right, Kent Busick's sticking around with us. We want to wrap things up here and touch on the Dave Piepkorn situation last night. He was voted out as deputy mayor. There was actually a poll at inform.com. They asked, so Kent, I'm going to ask you, and then I'll give you the poll results. Do you think Commissioner Piepkorn should be stripped of his title as deputy mayor?
I would vote no. And, you know, those online polls like that, they're not very scientific. So the 12 people that do subscribe to the form, I think 9 of them would tend to vote more liberal. So
it's definitely not very scientific, but I will say this. There was 2,800 votes. 54% of the people that responded said yes, Commissioner Piepkorn should be stripped of his deputy mayor title. If you don't know the story, he was at a commission meeting, talked about, said a certain thing about Native Americans, and then he wanted to remove some benches out down there. And anyways, so the meeting went down last night, and I want to play just a clip for you because I think it's interesting. Just listen to Commissioner Piepkorn. He pipes in here and it's like he seconds the motion to remove himself as mayor. But then Mayor Mahoney jumped in. And Mayor Mahoney had some choice words about Arlette Preston. So here's a little bit from last night's Fargo City Commission meeting.
Mayor, do I have a motion?
Mayor,
Mr. Strand,
I would move Arlette Preston be named our deputy mayor.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion. Difficulty I have with this, Commissioner Strand, is Arlette Preston ran against me in the mayor's race. And typically when you have a deputy mayor, the mayor and the assistant mayor have to work well together. Arlette Preston has also demonstrated over and over that she does not necessarily follow the rules that we have agreed upon. As the liaison commissioner to the police force, I regularly meet with the police force and find that Arlette several times makes a meeting and has a meeting without me present, which is one of the rules we have. In addition to that, rental registry was turned down twice by this commission, and Commissioner Preston continues to work with the inspections department on rental registry and continues to work with the planning department on rental registry. Recently, we had a Board of Health change on bylaws, which is coming later for you to vote on. And Bernie Dardis found he was going to put off the commission. He was going to be put off the Board of Health. That never had the light of day in City Commission chambers. My concern is that Arlette Preston has her own agenda and she would like to move forward to her own agenda, which is not in concert with the mayor. So my concern when you do that is that you are electing more of a dysfunctional commission.
Dysfunctional commission. Little turf wars going on within the Fargo City Commission. Put your head on a swivel and watch your back. What say you, Mr. Busick?
Well, I think it goes back to your opening statement on how words shouldn't hurt you. You know, the whole Candace Owens thing. I mean, let's think about what Commissioner Piepkorn was talking about. There's a problem in downtown Fargo. Yeah, he wasn't the most tactful person about it. He didn't present it in the most proper way. But again, when the Fargo Forum has a picture of a group of people drinking, a picture of them in the paper with a vodka bottle drinking in the middle of the afternoon, yeah, there is a problem. So why don't we address the problem instead of the hurtful words that Commissioner Piepkorn had? So again, I will give Mayor Mahoney credit for what he did say. I mean, he sees a problem with it. He called her out.
And I agree with you, but let's get rid of the problem. I think some people would say, I don't remember what it was. There's some place downtown where people can go, and Arlette Preston and John Strand are going to suggest, hey, that's an important piece of solving this problem. Obviously, Commissioner Piepkorn says it's enabling people, but you also got to know your audience when you're an elected official, right? To say, hey, he labeled Native Americans a certain way. It's a stereotype. That piece I don't agree with, and I think you've got to be a better communicator.
Well, and that's what I said. I mean, he didn't do it in the most tactful way. But again, he did present that, I wasn't aware of it. Yeah, I walk downtown and I see these people there, and it's like, oh, and this is what they do with them during the course of the day. They'll take them from the benches, they'll move them over to the center, then they get released. So again, he brought out a problem in the community that needs to be dealt with. Again, he just did a very poor job in presenting it.
Kent Busick, always great to see you. Thank you, sir. Busick, Olson and Associates. If you need some help with your taxes, CPA work, please give them a call. Want to remind you tonight, coming up here in just a couple hours, 7 p.m. on KX4 Valley News Live, the Minnesota gubernatorial debate between Scott Jensen and Tim Walz. Scott Jensen's going to join us tomorrow here on the show at 4:06. We'll kick things off with him. This is the Chris Berg Show. I love you. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 4 p.m.